Hi, I'm Richard Morris, and I'm here with Paula Rincón, and we're at Low Carb Denver.
I was here last year, and
Yes.
It was a great conference. You learn a lot about the science behind this way of eating, and to me it just made a lot of sense, having a background in microbiology, having learned in school biochemistry. It's up to us, the ones who understand the science, to get it out and to spread it in our community. Across the different disciplines, this way of eating makes sense. And the reason is simple, is because we're going back to the way we should have eaten the entire time. I co-founded with my fiance, he's a medical doctor, we co-founded Nutrimedicina Low Carb, and we put people in a 3-month program of education in nutrition, and we focus on Spanish speakers. So the first advice is just acknowledging and recognizing that as humans we have some rules that we go by.
Sure.
And as long as we keep those rules in place, we don't deviate from nature. We don't find ourselves struggling with medications and with seeing the doctors many times. If we understand that, if parents understand that, it will be very easy for them to tell their kids, don't eat this candy.
As a practitioner, you've probably seen a lot of changes in your patients.
Yes, I must say that we started seeing more changes once we recruited a psychologist.
Right, yeah. Because that's another component, isn't it?
That's another component. So once people start understanding and making peace with their environment because of all this input and the convenience foods and the ease, the instant gratification that we get from the things that are around, once they start making peace with that and knowing that every choice is important, that makes it just so much easier. Understanding that whenever they say no to the invitation of the granny with all these high carb foods.
Showing love with food.
Exactly, showing
Yes.
love and saying no to that not necessarily means that you're not loving back, loving her back.
Yeah.
It's just a way of respecting yourself, and as soon as probably she notices what's going on with you, it's going to reflect on her as well. So leading by example is important. So that mental aspect is equally as important as knowing the biochemistry basis of this.
So Paula, a lot of people do low carb at home and they're probably not involved with the community. What's your advice to them regarding low carb conferences and online events and the like?
Sure. I think a component of us as humans is also the community. Sometimes people feel alone, and we hear that all the time. So being amongst other people that share this interest and have probably faced some challenges and can help us with those challenges is very important.
My personal experience is that I was a type 2 diabetic, so that's how I got into this. How did you get into this environment?
Yeah, we all have these stories, of course, of somebody near us or ourselves. In my case was my 2 parents. So my mom was struggling with cycles and cycles of antibiotics for Helicobacter infection, and then at the same time my dad had been just recently diagnosed with a cancer. So I was just looking, and to me it made sense that their diet was probably not so good. So I was wondering if it was probably lack of probiotics, lack of fermented foods, lack of prebiotics and tubers. And then I started digging deeper and reading a lot about it, and I just found a lot of the science and the biochemistry that made sense with what I had learned in school. So starting from there, applying the knowledge with my parents in our home just got me super stoked about it. And seeing things in our community as well in Latin America just keeps me more motivated.
So tell me about keto and low carb diets in Latin America. Is it easy to do or difficult to do?
So the easier aspect of low carb in Latin America would be that we're not as muddled by the industry. So we don't have all these cereals, but we still rely a lot on fruits, a lot on tubers, a lot of the sugars from caña, so sugar cane, and honey, and all these things that, yes, they are natural, but then when you eat them a lot and all the time, because we've been told for a long time that we need to keep eating every 3 hours, then that adds up as sugar in your body, regardless of where it comes from.
Okay, thank you very much, Paula.
Thank you.